What's going on?
What's up? What's up?
What's up, man? Hey, I am here with Mike Collier, out of Florida, and all around good guy. For you all that don't know, Mike is a fellow Redan Raider.
That's
So
right. East side.
East Side all day. so
That's right.
so Mike, man, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you've been able to accomplish, going from where you are to a full-time real estate agent coming from Walt Disney. Um, you
Yeah.
know, tell us a little bit about your story, man. I mean, I know you got a great one.
Yeah. It started really back in 2004 when I graduated from Georgia State. I started at Georgia Southern, ended at Georgia State, finished at Georgia State, and came down to Walt Disney World in Orlando on the Disney College program, which was really supposed to be a 6-month internship. I thought I was only going to be here for 6 months, get Disney on my resume, and be able to go take over the world when I came back to Atlanta. And well, I tell people all the time, it was supposed to be 6 months, and now here we are 16 years later, and my mom's still waiting for me to come back home. you know, so that never actually happened. I ended up, since then I got married and started the kids and the family and the whole thing. But um, I started in 2004 at Walt Disney World and held a variety of roles since I was there. And in 2006, I was selected as a Walt Disney World ambassador, which is one of the spokespersons for the company. So every 2 years, really, the way it works, every 2 years, they select two cast members out of the however many thousands, 70,000 cast members that work there, and to represent the company on kind of a global basis, representing Walt Disney World. And so I was selected as one of those two in 2006. And after that, went into sales for Disney. I ended up selling Disney Vacation Club on board the Disney Cruise Line. So so that was fun because I got a chance to see the world. I've been as far west as, Alaska, all the way as far east to St. Petersburg, Russia, and everywhere
Wow.
in between. Yeah, made a lot of great money, made a lot of great contacts, and like I say, it was very good money at the time. But in 2016, my daughter was born in 2014. That's my first child. My daughter Brooklyn was born in 2016, and so she's 2 years old. And at that time, me going out on the cruise ships, even though I was loving life and traveling and seeing the world, and I had some great friends, and like I said, the money was coming in. She was giving me those puppy dog eyes, like, "Daddy, you leaving again?" You know. And I would try to call from the ship, and I couldn't reach them because I'm all the way out in the middle of the Baltic, and it just wasn't working out. And so I had to choose. I had to make the choice between money or family because I
Mm.
decided that I didn't want to miss it. I'll never forget one of the days that I went out on a ship. I was to be gone for 2 weeks, actually. It was one of the trips that I was going to Russia. I was going to be gone for 2 weeks. And my daughter was just showing signs of about to be able to walk. And it was like 11:30 at night. I'm like, why isn't this child in the bed? I need to go to sleep. I got to go to the airport in the morning. Man, I kid you not, it was like 11:45 p.m. She took her first few steps. And I was just thinking, like, if I would have rushed that moment just because I needed to leave, right, and put her in the bed and try to get her to sleep and all that kind of stuff, I would have missed it, and I would have been gone for 2 weeks, which means that she would have been running laps by the time I came back home. You know, so it really started to weigh on me a bit, and like I said, I decided to choose family. So 2016, I left and started doing real estate investing. I started flipping homes. I was doing hard money lending. I did some mobile home investing. A lot of the work I was doing myself, so I learned a lot, built some great contacts and relationships there. And 2018, I began wholesaling properties, became a partner in a wholesale company. And but it was a toxic culture that I was working in, quite honestly, Trey. It was toxic culture and really inequitable splits, really.
Mm.
And so I decided that I started talking to my best friend, my best man, who is actually now my EXP sponsor, Trent Dunn.
Right
And
there.
yeah, shout out to my boy Trent. And he's like, "Hey man, you need to check out EXP." And I was like, "Yeah, but I own this company over here. I'm an owner in this company because I was a partner in the company."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah, but you can own EXP too." I'm like, "Yeah, but it's not the same." And he's like, "Nah, well, help me understand what ownership means to you." So we started talking about ownership. And what I came to realize after doing some research on the company and everything, I came to realize owning a company doesn't mean anything really unless you're looking to sell the company or you're planning to go public, right? Which is kind of still selling the company, right? But at the end of the day, unless you're planning to pass it down to your kids or sell the company, ownership really doesn't mean much of anything. But if you can have a strong legacy to be able to leave in something where like EXP, where you're able to come in and choose collaboration over competition, when you're able to help other people succeed and build their dream, and you benefiting them helps to benefit you, like, dude, that's
no-brainer.
that's magic. Yeah, that's magic. That's magic.
Definitely a no-brainer, man. So, all right. So, you go through the whole process. You find EXP. First of all, like what prompted you to be a real estate agent anyway? I know you said you started off kind of investing itself, but
Yeah.
obviously it gravitated over to selling houses. Like, what was the process? Did you always know that kind of was going to be the thing to get you from getting off the cruise ships to being able to spend more time with your family, being able to get into this real estate business? Like, how, what prompted you to be a real estate agent in of itself?
Honestly, man, it was one of convenience. So I've always been interested in real estate. It started with Rich Dad Poor Dad, just like what it did for most people, right? Robert
Yeah.
Kiyosaki. I remember reading it. I'll never forget, man. I read the book. I was still living at my mom's house. I read the book. This was, I think, senior year high school, right? Because I think the book came out in '97. And so I read the book, and I came downstairs after reading the book, and I remember telling my parents, I'll never forget where they were and what I said to them. They were in the kitchen, and I came downstairs. I just closed the last page, and I was like, oh my God, my mind is blown. So I go downstairs. I said, I know what I want to do with the rest of my life. I know what I want to do. They said, really? Well, let me sit down for this. What you got? Right? And dude, I said, I want to go into real estate. And dude, their smile went from here to right. And they told me all the things that could happen with real estate, and it doesn't always go up. It can go down, and all that kind of stuff. But my mind was pretty much set. I knew real estate was going to at least be a vehicle that allowed me to get to where I was trying to go. I didn't know exactly how I was going to get there, but I knew it was going to be something was going to be a large part of it was going to be involved with real estate. Right. And so in 2000, I told you I was a Walt Disney World ambassador in 2006, but in 2007, the role that I held at Disney required for me to go ahead and get my real estate license. And so, because what I was selling when I was at Disney, I was selling Disney's timeshare, and in order to get commission, we had to have a real estate license, because it is deeded real estate that we're selling there, right? And so, so I got my real estate license, and Disney paid for it. Shout out to Mickey, thank you, right? And it was really cool. So when I decided to make the transition, while I wasn't going directly into just residential real estate sales, I knew, again, that real estate was going to be a large part of it. I knew that investing and flipping and all that kind of stuff. Matter of fact, Trent and I, in 2015, the year before I left Disney, we co-invested in the Rich Dad Poor Dad investment training series, right?
Really?
We paid like, oh, dude, we paid like 30 grand, like literally 30 grand to do these classes and this whole thing. And so he was like, well, I'll do 15 if you do 15. I was like, all right, let's do it. So we did it. But I learned so much. That's how I learned about mobile home investing. That's how I learned a lot about hard money lending and all that kind of stuff. So by the time 2016 rolled around, I knew that I was going to do something in that vein. So I started mobile home investing, and it worked out for me, man. And so when I got to the way I got to residential real estate was while I was in wholesale, and kind of fast forwarding to 2018, when I was at the wholesale company, while we were doing wholesaling, I was an acquisition manager, right? So I was calling homeowners saying, hey, here's what we're willing to give you for your house, that kind of thing. Would you take it? The wholesale game,
yeah,
right? Yeah. And I got cussed out a lot, right? I like a lot, I got hung up on a lot, all that kind of stuff. But there were people who were saying, there's no way in the world I would take that price. And so at some point I started saying, so you won't take that price, but you do want to sell your home, right? Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I want to sell it, but I'm not going to sell it for that price. Okay. So if I could help you to sell it for the price that you were wanting to sell it for, would you be interested? Well, yeah, I'd be interested in that. but I'm not taking that price that you mentioned earlier.
Yep.
I said, okay, well, I'm a real estate advisor. Let me come out and help you to understand, a little bit more what's going on in the market and how I might be able to help you. So the very first time that actually worked, because I tried it a few times, didn't necessarily work out, but I was getting listing appointments. I was working out the muscle,
Yep.
And the first time it actually worked was in an area called Celebration, which is 10 minutes away from Disney. Those of you who are Disney fans, you know exactly where Celebration, Florida is. And it was a $589,000 listing, and I locked it down and sold it. So that was like the first success story with that, and I was like, oh, okay, this is cool. The problem ended up being, though, that the company that I was with, they were cool with me doing the residential side of the real estate, but they didn't want anything to do with it. They were like, you do it, that's your baby, that's cool. We'll just get our cut, and we'll stay over here. You keep doing that. And I was like, okay, cool. Well, I was getting appointments that were like an hour and a half away from each other and all the way down in the sticks of Florida. And I'm like, man, this is crazy. And they're like, no, you just need to build a team. Just bring agents onto your team. And I'm like, okay, all right, well, yeah, but I need some kind of offer to them. Like, how am I going to get a seasoned agent who wants to come over here and we're trying to run them all over? And they're like, no, most agents don't make a lot of money. Just bring them in. I said, well, we got to have some kind of training. Well, create some training for them. I said, okay, well, I'm going to create the training. All right, cool. So who's going to train them then? Because you're going to train them. Okay. So I'm going to recruit the agents. I'm going to create the training. I'm going to train the agents. Oh, and by the way, I still need to be selling so I can actually feed my family, right? Somehow that works. And they were like, yeah. They're like, yeah. And I said, oh, okay, that's not going to necessarily fly. And so it didn't. And it got worse. And so that's how I ended up coming over to EXP. But
man, you said a whole lot in that, dude. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you really don't know somebody until you know their background and where they came from. I mean, just looking at what you've been able to do now and where you are now and where you came from, like making those phone calls. And calling people, getting hung up on. Like we all got those same stories. You gotta get in the mud,
yeah.
in order to be successful, man, and make things happen. So going from there and then to the point where understanding, if I can't get this person to accept this offer, there's still another opportunity out there for me that I can actually present them with. And, a lot of people, they don't realize that, what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I talk to so many people, man, they make these phone calls and then the person, they say they're not interested or there's always another angle. There's always another path that you can go in order to get the deal done. And the person that you sold a house for, I mean, I'm sure they were super grateful for it,
Oh man. Oh dude. Yeah. Like literally they call me, they send me the Christmas cards, they send stuffed animals to my kids. Like, I mean, we got them top value in a great neighborhood and they're extremely excited. Their whole family knows me. We took the family photo. She tells me that, her husband still, and they were an older couple trying to downsize. And it took us a lot to get through it, but we got there, man. And it was truly, but to your point, it's about adding value in every single transaction, right? It's not always about what we want. Like if I want that listing presentation or if I want that listing, I may not necessarily get that listing, but when we call for sale by owners, you may not necessarily get the listing, but can you maybe charge 1% to help them with the transaction so that you can help them get from, the beginning to the end at the closing table, right? And might some referrals come from that if you can help them to do that? Like truly operating from a place of value, not devaluing yourself, but at least offering value to help them get what they're looking to get.
Yeah, man. I always say, ask the question like, what is a listing really worth to a lot of agents? Like if you get one listing, like it's one of those things. Jay Kinder always talk about. They have babies, right?
Yeah, listings have babies.
Listings have babies. So
right.
You're gonna get another listing from it, most likely if you market it the right way. You're gonna get buyers from it, and the relationship and the testimony in and of itself. I mean, you can utilize that testimony that you just got this listing top dollar in order to get more listings, but more importantly, those same buyers that were looking for those for that neighborhood, you can tell the people in the neighborhood like, look, I have buyers in the 80s. How many agents have that? They talk about, hey, I'm gonna do you a good job. I'm trustworthy and all that stuff. But like, no, man, I got buyers. You don't realize it.
I have buyers that are looking for homes in this neighborhood right now that I've spoken to, and many of them are already pre-approved.
That's it.
How bad do you want to sell your house? Do you want to
bad
sell it to somebody who's going to go out trying to looking for buyers, or do you want somebody who already has a few of them on speed dial right now?
That's it, man.
Yeah.
So all right. So you in the process. I mean, you're doing everything. They talk about you building out a team. They have no training. They want you to set the training up. Like you're new. Then you get introduced to EXP. EXP has a whole model. They have all this training set forth, and then you go through the whole process of building your team in EXP. Take us down that journey.
Yeah. So starting, I was amazed at the fact that, there was already, so I had the guest pass right before I actually came over to EXP, and one of my concerns was where my upline was going to be. Right. Yeah. You may remember this conversation, right? So, yeah, right. So Trent had already begun talking to me about EXP. Trent, of course, is in Atlanta. I'm all the way down in Orlando. I'm originally from Atlanta, but that I felt like I probably needed some proximity to make this really work, and at the same time, someone else had or soon after, I should say, someone else did start talking to me from my church. Yeah. About EXP and was like, hey, you should check out EXP. Oh, yeah. And I said, yeah, somebody already brought it up to me, but they're up in Atlanta, but it's my best friend and I'm trying to figure this whole thing out. And they're like, well, we have the proximity, but obviously if you've already been talking with somebody, they weren't trying to steal me away, but he was just saying, hey, there's proximity here. So I brought that back to Trent, and he's like, dude, all right, let's do this. So I think you and I spoke, right? Yep. And we know each other since high school, so it's all good. Yep. But then he was like, I got the guy for you. Can you be on a call tomorrow at 2:30? I got Jay Kinder coming on the line, yep. Right? So he put Jay Kinder on the phone. Now, keep in mind, this was in Orlando before Gil Ramos and Bobby Davidowitz had moved over to EXP, before Veronica Figueroa had moved over to EXP, yeah. Right? They were all in the talks of it, but they hadn't actually made the official announcement yet. So I didn't know them, right? And so I got on the phone with Jay Kinder, man, and he started talking about like the training that was available. And he's like, hey, make sure you get a guest pass, walk through the world. You'll see the training. There's tons of hours and hours of training every single week that you're going to be able to log into. And you'll feel like you're right at home. Plus, we have your support. There are people on the ground right there in Florida. Carlos German was the biggest player down here, at least from Honey Badger Nation, and he's like, you can plug into him. He's always a great resource. And I was like, all right, cool. So I spoke with Carlos, and I felt good enough. I was like, you know what, it makes sense. It makes sense. I think we can still make this work. And bro, it's one of the best decisions I made. We are in the right group, right? Yeah. Honey Badger Nation, stand up. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. Right?
I mean, the power of the connection part. That was the biggest thing for me. I mean, to be associated and have someone that's truly taking interest in your success. That probably in another situation you would have had to pay them for it. Be honest with you. Like you need to charge for it. So having someone to kind of grab your hand, take you through the process, learn their systems, build everything out. My whole thing is just saying learning from the top. You can't go wrong when you're learning from the top. And that's something that you saw when we talked before, and it was like, look, dude, you can probably join EXP under someone else, mm-hmm. but if you're not part of this group, you're gonna be missing out.
Man, look, like, and here's what's crazy is you can know that, but you don't feel that or truly understand that, I should say, until you're in it, right? And so for some, it's, obviously it's too late, right? If they choose a different group because whatever, right? But so often, man, I mean, and I know you hear this because you guys have been in it longer than me. So often we have people who join through a different line. They came into a different group, and that it's just not the same culture there. There's not the same level of support. There's not the same collaboration. There's not the same number of generals who are just, who are fighting that path for, charging that path for us already. And so when they see what we have access to, so often I get asked, like, so how do we get some of that? Yeah. What's this NAEA thing? Like, yep. How you guys get that for free? Wait, what? Yep. I know a broker who was paying $30,000 a year to be a part of that. Yeah, I do too. Yep. I know a few of them. right? And so, yeah, man. And so, with watching what you guys are doing up there, the Massey Moore team, watching guys like my guy Dan Hillsman, stand up Dan, you know, watching the guys who came in before us and saying, hey, listen, it takes time. This is a long game, and then, like I said, partnering with guys like Bobby Davidowitz and Gil Ramos down here with the Alliance Group, like. Those guys have adopted me into this office, man. I'm actually sitting in Gil's office right now. It's a nice office. So shout out to Gil. Thanks, man.
What's up, Gil?
But tying in, man, what they have here in this office, brother, we have like Team Help Tuesdays every single Tuesday, Team Help Thursdays every single Thursday. It's a non-denominational training program that allows for people, and I say non-denominational because it doesn't matter who you're with. Right. It doesn't matter what church you go to. Right. Yeah. You can go to Keller Williams. You can go to Century 21. You can go to Coldwell, all the big boys. But we allow a training ground for people to come here and simply be better agents. They don't have to be AFAs, your average frustrated agent. Right. They can plug into a culture where it's not about recruiting. Right. But it's more about, guess what? If I can help make you a better agent, then it's going to make a bit more seamless transaction so that when I meet you on the other side of a deal, right, you know what you're doing. Yeah. Right. And I know what I'm doing, which creates less tension, less frustration, and makes both of us more money. Now, nobody can say no to that. No. Are you willing to be a better agent? Are you coachable? Are you still willing to learn? Right? Do you agree that there's something that you can learn? Okay. So if I could get you into one of the training sessions here, would you like to come? All right. I'll have one more seat available. And so that's how my group has really begun to grow. My organization has begun to grow because I've plugged in. I'm at almost every training session, but I also invite people to it. And so I've one thing that we know in Honey Badger Nation, we know it's all about the invitation, right? Yeah. Invite. And the better you get at simply inviting, the more success you're going to have, in growing your organization. And so it's been growing. My production has been growing as well. I did 11 transactions all of last year. And on this year,
let's get into that, man. I mean, because I know we talked a little bit before. You hit a big goal, man, within EXP.
I did it, man.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah. So
many, I'm gonna set you up, right?
Okay.
so many agents, their biggest thing is how to get business, how to grow, how to build. How to get to the point where they become a capping agent every single year, which means a tremendous thing at this company versus anywhere else, because a capping agent means that you get more ownership shares in the company. I know I was at a company before where, we used to hit production goals and I used to get a certificate. I got like a trophy or something like that. I'll get like a $50 gift certificate to,
Applebee's.
Whatever it is. And, you take that stuff and you're feeling good. But I've never gotten a valuable thing that kept paying me. And if anybody's looking at the stock right now, EXPI, I mean, it's going off the roof. So everybody at EXP, we get stock just for doing, transactions within the company because, we're helping the company out. So on your first transaction, you get stock, which obviously Mike got that. And then you get additional stock when I'm gonna let you continue from here.
When you cap. Right? So what we all want to be is capping agents. I don't know what the national average is now. I know for the longest time the national average was like 6 to 8 deals. The average agent does 6 to 8 deals. And when you keep that in mind, most agents are AFAs, right? Average frustrated agents. They don't have the support. They don't have the people around them. They don't get to plug into a culture of like I said, collaboration over competition, where people just want to see them win. And so since we're all shareholders in this, whether I was to come through your line or not, you would want to see me win simply because I'm an EXP agent, but not am I just an EXP agent, I'm an EXP agent owner, right? And so we want to see the stock increase because as the stock increases, we all win, right? And so it's just a beautiful model. It's a beautiful model. And I think it's the way that the world should work, quite honestly. But last year I did all of about 11 transactions for I think it was right at about 3.7 million, and so this year I'm on pace to double that, right? And so as of just this past Friday, I capped for the very first time. So yeah, so I'm feeling pretty good about that, you know, because that's one of those mile markers that you reach, and the goal is obviously to never go backwards, right? It's only upwards from there. My goal is to double my business every single year and help the agents that I'm bringing in to do that as well. I had a great call with some of the coaches. We have an alliance coaching program here in Central Florida, whereby if you come through our line and you want to, you know, if a newer agent who is newly licensed or just hasn't done a lot of transactions over the last 12 months, EXP automatically brings them in as a you know, part of the mentoring program. So I am a certified EXP mentor, but I'm also an alliance coach. So within our group, it's a little different. You get a little bit more hands-on training and all that stuff. And one of the things we were doing this morning as we were talking with our alliance coaches, Gil brought up a great point. He said, you know, this isn't just about helping agents become better agents. That's a part of it. But a big goal for all of us is to be able to help that agent become an owner. Good. Right? Owners creating owners, creating owners. Not agents recruiting agents. We sell real estate. That's what we do here, you know? And so, but when you can help someone start to achieve their goals for their family, for their own personal goals, for their wealth goals and financial goals, by helping them to not only just sell real estate, but also helping them to understand the power of becoming an owner, an agent owner in this company, sky's the limit, man. And so I've really began to internalize that and say, okay, that's the goal. And so just recently I've had over the last, I mean, you've been seeing it, right? Over the last, 60 days, we've had some massive growth in the organization. I have people reaching out to me, and you told me this was going to happen. It's going to start to snowball. Yeah. Right. It's going to start to snowball. And my goal is I'm not one of those guys who only focuses on attraction. Right. Maybe one day I can be like Jay Kinder and sit back and take the phone calls and all that good stuff. Right. But even Jay Kinder said he doesn't get a lot of the phone calls, as many phone calls as he wishes that he did. Yeah. You know, he makes himself available, but less than 5% of agents are actually speaking with other agents about this EXP opportunity. Yeah. That's insane to me. So my production is growing, but also because of the leadership that I'm seeing and being, you know, that I'm getting poured into, I'm also being able to grow my organization. So it's that two-way track.
Dude, well, man, I appreciate you kind of just, you know, sharing your story, showing, you know, where you came from, talking about the journey in and of itself. And I'm so excited about your success here at the company and the things that you've been able to do. I mean, you get so many agents that, you know, I talk to, and, you know, their whole thing, you know, you ask what is your goal? And, you know, I want to do $100,000 a year. I want to do $100,000 a year. Man, you're going to crush it this year in a pandemic. Yeah. In a pandemic. So, I mean, that's a really big accomplishment, man. So, I mean, I know you're going to continue to do great things here. I mean, if somebody wanted to get with you, man, how did they get in touch with you?
Well, you can see my IG handle right here. I'm_Mike Collier, right? And so reach out to me on IG. You can check me out on Facebook as well. You can reach me 407-494-4013. If you are considering getting into real estate, if you are already in real estate, but you don't have some of that culture, you want to learn a little bit more about what we've been talking about, I'd be happy to show you, especially if you're in this Orlando area or really any state, any country that we happen to operate in. We can plug you into the right folks. And if I don't know the answer, I have the people that do. And so reach out to me anytime. I'd be happy to talk to you about this opportunity.
Yep. And also for anybody that, you know, that's out there and they want to be part of a community of agents that is, you know, really just sharing information, even if you don't want to necessarily be part of EXP, which, you know, I think would be crazy because it's the best company right now. But, you know, but even if you just want to get information, you can go to Agent Builders Facebook group and join that Facebook group. I mean, we're always sharing, you know, we have these masterminds, we repost them in that Facebook group, and, you know, have people that are killing it all over, just giving great information on how to sell more houses. You know, if you want to reach out to me directly, you know, you just go ahead and just send me a message. Also, I'm gonna put this up here as well. So, you know, if you go to agentbuildergroup.com, right there, you can fill out a survey of what you need help with the most, whether it's lead generation, whether it's structure, whether it's just, you know, how to build a team or how to get out of, you know, being a, you know, average frustrated agent. All of us have been there at one time. All of us have been AFAs at one time. So, you know, if you want to do that, definitely reach out regarding that. So, Mike, man, I really appreciate it, dude. And like, I'm looking forward to your growth, man. Like I said, you're a general now. I told you before, you're a general on my board right now. You know, so
Salute.
leader in this industry, from Walt Disney to leader in this industry, man. Keep killing it, brother.
Hey, I appreciate you guys' leadership and your vision. You guys, you're blazing trails. You know, everybody's going to know the name at some point if they don't already. So it's just a matter of time. So jump on this board. If you guys have any questions, reach out to us. We'd be happy to help.
All right, man. Over and out.
All right.